The brother and sister had never married. As time went by, they grew old, so they decided to adopt a child to help them with the farm work. But due to a misunderstanding, when Mike arrived at the station, he didn't see the boy he had expected, but a girl sitting alone on the platform. The girl's name was Anne, an orphan whose heart had been scarred by suffering. After being adopted by a cruel family, she had lived a life of constant beatings, and when her stepfather died, they sent her back to the orphanage without a second thought. That day, she boarded the train with high hopes, determined that she would finally have a home of her own. Yet it was all a mistake. At that moment, Mike was a bit taken aback and could tell he wasn't very pleased. So she began to sell herself with all her might. Mike couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth and decided to take her home first. All the way there, Anne's mouth didn't stop as she was lost in a world of wild imagination and realized she was talking too much. But Mike said he didn't mind, which made Anne breathe a sigh of relief. The closer they got to Mike's home, the more excited Anne became, because this place was a paradise on earth. The carriage finally pulled up in front of Green Gables. She waited nervously for her first meeting with Marilla. Unexpectedly, Marilla asked Mike what was going on. Mike explained that there had been a mix-up in the message. Marilla said she would send Anne back the very next morning. The next moment, Anne collapsed to the ground. At dinner, Anne had no appetite at all and couldn't help but weep uncontrollably as she went to sleep. But Anne wouldn't let any chance to stay slip by. She promoted herself at every opportunity. She could work in the fields, milk cows, or chop wood, and she could do the laundry and ironing as well. Although Mary felt sorry for her, she still believed that adopting a boy would be more valuable. Mac really wanted to keep Anne, but unfortunately, his younger sister was the one who made the decisions at home. They said their final goodbyes on the way back and still couldn't shake her habit of chattering nonstop. Perhaps because the journey was so boring, Mary began to enjoy chatting with her. When Mary learned that Anne had been an orphan since infancy and had supported herself with her own hands for as long as she could remember. Just as they were chatting, a dog suddenly darted out onto the road. The horse was startled and was thrown violently from the carriage. She quickly scrambled to her feet, shouted at the dog, scaring it away, then calmly soothed the frightened horse. Mary couldn't help but praise her. Mary then took Anne to the agent's home and cleared up the misunderstanding and was originally going to be sent back to the orphanage. But it so happened that the guardian had a neighbor with a large family and a heavy workload who was just looking to adopt a little girl to help out. Mary noticed that this neighbor was very harsh and even hinted that if Anne didn't do something right, she would be beaten with a stick. Mary hesitated and immediately backtracked, saying she hadn't yet decided whether to give up custody of Anne. And returned once more to the beautiful Green Gables. However, she had to go through a 7-day trial period. If she didn't pass, she would still be sent back